The sky above Cold City shimmered with a tense, electric anticipation, as if the very air sensed the clash of wills about to unfold. Within the hallowed halls of the Cold Spear Association, the Seventh Elder's gaze fell upon Ling Han, his eyes sharp as blades honed by decades of heaven-tier cultivation. "What audacious boasts," he sneered, voice low and cutting. "You are yet in the deity transformation tier. A young sapling like you dares lecture an elder? The stiffest tree snaps easiest, boy. Allow me to show you how a true cultivator commands respect." Ling Han's eyes gleamed with a quiet, unyielding fire. "Your words are lofty indeed, elder," he replied evenly, "but do not mistake the pond for the ocean. In the boundless world, there is always someone stronger, someone swifter. Pride without awareness is folly." The Seventh Elder's lips twisted in rage, laughter bitter and forced. Were their roles reversed, his words would carry reason. But now a youth dared to chastise him, a seasoned master of countless years. Speech faltered on his tongue. Fury bubbled beneath his composed exterior. No longer could he temper his response. He lunged forward, hands surging with heaven-tier martial intent, a pressure so overwhelming that weaker deity transformation cultivators around would have crumpled to the ground beneath its weight. Yet Ling Han did not flinch. He remained still, calm as a tranquil pond, allowing the elder's hand to close the distance. Then, with the subtlest of movements, he flicked the palm thrust toward him. The force was precise, surgical, and it pierced through the Seventh Elder's defenses like a needle of pure martial energy. Pain lanced through him, his body recoiling instinctively. 7 hurried steps carried him back as his hand trembled violently, unable to form a fist. The hall fell into stunned silence. Even the most learned observers could hardly comprehend what had just transpired. A casual touch from this young man had shaken a heaven-tier elder to his core. "Why has the Seventh Elder halted?" Whispers rippled through the assembly. No one could answer. The elder, a legend among legends, had been checked, forced to retreat by one so young, so seemingly fragile. It was unthinkable. Ling Han's lips curved faintly, his aura calm yet unassailable. "Shall we converse more properly now?" he asked, his tone carrying the weight of both challenge and authority. Seventh Elder's gaze bore into him, grudging respect mingling with disbelief. After a long pause, he spoke. "You underestimate the Cold Spear Association. I may not halt you, but know this. Others exist who can." The onlookers froze, shock rippling through every heart. Could it be true? The Seventh Elder, unable to overcome a youth scarcely 20 years of age? The world of cultivation was vast, yet this young man's prowess defied expectation. Ling Han's smile was faint but assured. "I have no wish to linger for each of you to step forth. I will enter myself." "Stop!" Voices thundered. A chorus of indignation. How could an outsider dare enter the Cold Spear Association? It was sacrilege. Seventh Elder's voice cut through the clamour. "Let him pass. Within there are those who shall guide him in proper conduct." The assembly acquiesced. The Cold Spear Association was renowned for its wealth of elite warriors. Even heaven-tier masters might falter, yet surely some shattering void-tier cultivators awaited to test this audacious youth. Bangs and clashing echoes soon resonated from within the residence, a dance of martial energies briefly audible before silence reclaimed the space. Moments later, the Fifth Elder stumbled out, his face a tapestry of bruises, eyes wide with disbelief. "I was defeated by a girl, barely 10 years of age," he admitted, voice strained. The audience's jaws dropped. The Fifth Elder, one whose strength rivaled even the Seventh Elder, had fallen to who knew, a mere child in appearance, yet a tempest of martial prowess. Moments later, 2 more elders emerged, similarly injured, their faces marked by scratches and contusions. "Third Elder! Second Elder!" Came murmurs of astonishment. Even the strongest among those below, shattering void-tier, had succumbed to this unexpected force. Ling Han and his companions' strength rivaled legends. The air thickened with tension as a dozen new figures approached. 3 elders led the charge, flanked by 11 young warriors. One young woman's face was familiar, Mu Fei Yao of the Southern Spear Association. Their arrival stirred the frictions of old rivalries, as northern and southern factions alike bickered over legitimacy. Cold City, sacred ground to both, had long maintained a truce here. Intrusion by outsiders was no small offence. "Do you require aid?" a Southern Spear member queried. "Heng!" The Northern Spear members bristled. We require no assistance from pretenders. Their confidence stemmed from the First Elder, whose mastery of the shattering void tier was unparalleled, a sentinel of supremacy within their ranks. Deep within the residence, Ling Han sat cross-legged, facing an elder of serene demeanour. A cup of fragrant tea sat between them, steam curling like mist upon a mountain lake. Zhu Xuan'er, poised and composed, observed quietly behind him, while Hu Nu sprawled across the floorboards, her youthful innocence contrasting the gravity of the moment. The elder before Ling Han was the First Elder himself, the pinnacle of the Northern Spear Association. His temperament was mild, his gaze discerning as he offered, "Young friend, at 20 you have reached a height few attain even across centuries. Such talent is rarely seen." Ling Han inclined his head respectfully. "First Elder, your praise humbles me. I seek your guidance on a matter of great importance." The First Elder nodded, understanding the mutual respect in Ling Han's demeanour. "And what matter weighs upon you, young friend?" Ling Han's eyes, steady and earnest, met those of the Elder, the founder of the Cold Spear Association. The room fell into a contemplative hush, the aroma of tea mingling with the unseen tension of histories, rivalries, and the martial legacies that lay beneath every word and glance. In that instant, time seemed suspended, as if all of Cold City itself awaited the unfolding of revelations yet to come. In the serene sanctum of the Cold Spear Association, an unusual stillness lingered, like the calm before a storm. Ling Han's gaze rested upon the First Elder, curiosity alight in his eyes. "The founder of the Cold Spear Association?" he inquired, voice steady yet carrying an undercurrent of intent. The First Elder's brow furrowed in puzzlement, a flicker of confusion crossing his ancient features. Why would a cultivator of Ling Han's stature seek knowledge of a name rather than a martial technique or hidden lore? To him, such a question seemed trivial, almost naive, yet Ling Han was no ordinary man to act without purpose. The First Elder paused, considering, and then asked with cautious curiosity, "Can you tell me why you wish to know of this?" Ling Han's lips curved into a faint, enigmatic smile. "My ancestor may have some connection to the founder of the Cold Spear Association. I wish to clarify this matter," he replied, his tone calm, like water reflecting the moon, serene on the surface, but concealing fathomless depths beneath. The First Elder's eyes brightened, and he leaned slightly forward, reverence seeping through his posture. "Your surname is Ling. Could it be that you are a descendant of that revered line?" he inquired. "More or less," Ling Han replied, withholding the truth that was far greater than mere descent. He was not simply a scion of that ancient lineage. He was the incarnation of the legendary Ling Han himself, a truth too immense for casual disclosure. A solemn gleam lit the First Elder's eyes as he intoned, "There are 3 founders of the Cold Spear Association, Chen Ruijing, Lord Chen, Yun Yong Wang, Lord Yun, and Tang Xu Yuan, Lord Kang." His hands instinctively joined in reverent clasp, as if venerating spirits long ascended. Ling Han's mind raced. If the other Cold Spear Association had been established by Jiang Yu Feng, and the two groups were so irreconcilably divided, could it be that a rift had erupted between Jiang Yue Feng and the trio of ancient masters? Ling Han's sharp intuition pieced together fragments of time, power, and history. "Have all 3 ascended into the immortal realm?" he asked, voice soft but probing. "Indeed." First Elder's pride was evident. "The 3 lords have long since become immortals. Through a profound technique, they linked the mortal realm with the immortal realm and established the Cold Spear Association to continue the legacy of the remnants Grandmaster Ling left behind." Ling Han's brow furrowed, a storm of contemplation brewing within. Jiang Yue Feng had surely attained immortality, for his existence spanned millennia. The enmity with his fellow disciples, Ling Han surmised, must have arisen from the reckoning. Perhaps Jiang Yue Feng allied with the 5 sects of the immortal realm, prompting the trio to sever ties, thereby creating the schism between the 2 Cold Spear Associations, a deduction that fit perfectly into the tapestry of logic. Yet questions lingered. Chen Ruijing and the others had also ascended, so why would they ever submit to the dictates of the 5 sects? Their character, as Ling Han knew, would never bow willingly. Unless the heavenly phoenix Divine Maiden had intervened. Perhaps she had guided his 4 disciples into the immortal realm alongside her, compelling even the proudest of immortals to acquiesce. After all, she deemed herself the mistress of this domain, and following Ling Han's death, who among the ancient lords would dare defy her? A soft exclamation drew Ling Han back to reality. "Young friend! Young friend!" First Elder's voice broke through his reverie, calling him back from the labyrinth of thought. Ling Han's expression eased into a smile. "Many thanks, First Elder, for clarifying my confusion." "Ho-ho, it is but a trivial matter," First Elder replied, a warm smile touching his lips. His mind had already deemed this young man one of boundless potential, a seed to nurture rather than obstruct. He had decided to extend goodwill. Ling Han's hand moved to produce a trove of precious medicinal herbs. "I have harmed some within your esteemed association. Please accept this token of apology," he said, his gesture sincere. The First Elder's hand waved casually, and the herbs vanished into his spatial spirit tool. "Young friend, should you ever encounter a danger beyond your capacity, there is no shame in seeking refuge here. Your safety shall be assured, no matter the peril." Ling Han considered, suspecting an allusion to the reckoning, yet decorum demanded restraint. He nodded gracefully. "I thank you, First Elder. I shall take my leave." "I shall not see you out," the Elder smiled. As a shattering Void Tier Master, he need not escort a cultivator of Ling Han's level. Courtesy was sufficient. The martial world respected such hierarchies. Outside, Hu Nu's impatience erupted. She had been tormenting Rabbit mercilessly, and upon hearing of their departure, seized one of Rabbit's legs, dragging him along. Rabbit's complaints echoed like a tiny storm, his face twisted in mock agony. Even in the face of danger, he feared only Hu Nu. The main gates revealed a throng of onlookers, eyes sharp with suspicion. Hu Nu, sensing potential conflict, released Rabbit and declared boldly, "Want to fight? Nu shall accompany." A 10-year-old's bravado, yet her reputation preceded her. Even the third and fifth elders had succumbed to her hands. Lord Rabbit, meanwhile, endured an epic level of stress, wondering how this child remained unscathed amid such chaos. Whispers of incredulity swept through the Northern Spear Association. How could Ling Han, a heaven-tier elite, emerge unscathed in a domain of shattering void masters? Murmurs turned to grumbles, tinged with humiliation. "Ha-ha! The false Cold Spear Association will always be false, allowing an intruder to roam freely. How shameful!" Yet reality could not be denied. Ling Han had walked out unharmed. Ling Han's calm voice cut through the tension. "I realized before the First Elder that I was no match, so I humbly acknowledged my defeat and offered apology. The First Elder treasures talent, and thus allowed my departure." His words, a perfect blend of humility and strategy, restored dignity to the Northern Spear Association while preserving his own freedom. Still, unease lingered among them. Ling Han's safe exit was a blemish on their pride, yet they understood the unspoken rules of respect. "My 3 elders, he's Ling Han." Mu Fei Yao's voice rang, sharp with recognition. The 3 elders of the Southern Spear Association turned in unison, eyes narrowing with lethal intent. "So it is indeed Ling Han," they acknowledged, their expressions dark as storm clouds. "Young friend, you must change your name immediately," commanded the 4th elder, authority and fury intertwined. Ling Han's lips lifted in amusement. "Why?" he asked, tone light yet challenging. "You are unqualified," the 8th elder bellowed, his voice like iron. Ling Han shook his head gently. "You may venerate your historical idol, but you cannot dictate the identity I claim. My name is my freedom, beyond your governance." A flash of movement erupted. Hu Nu, fierce as a miniature tempest, shouted, "Why be so stern? Nu will strike you." With a whirlwind of childish strength, she flung Rabbit like a projectile toward the 8th elder. "Whom did Lord Rabbit offend?" came the panicked cry as the small body shot through the air, a comedic yet chaotic tableau of martial audacity. The winds of the Cold Spear Association carried echoes of past and present, legends and youthful vigor, all converging in a single unforgettable moment, a story unfolding, alive with the pulse of Wuxia spirit.